Lebanon. The capital, Beirut, has been hit by a massive explosion. You can see the plume of smoke rising into the blue sky there. In fact, latest reports are suggesting, although this is not confirmed, that there have been 2 explosions, in fact, in the port of Beirut, and that these 2 explosions have left dozens of people wounded. That's AFP news agency quoting a security source in Lebanon. So they are saying that there have been 2 explosions in the port of Beirut, which have left dozens of people wounded. We haven't had that confirmed yet as yet, but we have had eyewitnesses talking about feeling it was as if like an earthquake when the explosion went off and really shook buildings in a large area of the city of Beirut, shattered windows, and it sent that huge plume of smoke, as you can see, into the sky. Lebanese media have been showing these pictures of people carrying images of people trapped under rubble, some with blood all over them after the massive explosion. But the cause of this explosion, or explosions plural, because it may be 2, we just don't know at the moment. So we'll try and get more details about what might be the cause of this explosion, or if there were 2 these explosions. We know also that there's been a cut in electricity in some districts of Beirut, not surprisingly, because of that huge blast. One resident tweeted, "Buildings are shaking." Another tweeted, "An enormous, deafening explosion has just engulfed Beirut. Heard it from miles away." And you can see there people around Beirut pretty stunned and shattered. Of course, in the past, Lebanon was gripped by a dreadful, horrific civil war, and it's had a very, very troubled history. It's been a lot calmer in recent years, and much of the huge damage that was done by that long civil war has been repaired, and it's a rather wonderful city. I've been there a few times myself. A stunning city in the Middle East, but it has also been scarred by a sectarian divide and a political divide for many years. So whether this is the result of some sort of attack, and by whom, we simply don't know at the moment. We will try and bring you more details on that as we get it. But these are the first pictures we've just been getting of some of the damage, some of the effects of that blast. And the smoke, as you can see, still rising up into the air in Beirut, and it's clearly a very shocking event, dreadful event, a large number of casualties people are already talking about. Whether there have been deaths or fatalities, we don't know. You can see there the emergency services racing around Beirut, but we'll bring you more on the casualties and the motivations behind this. If this was some sort of terror attack in the middle of Beirut, that will become clear in the hours ahead. But what we know for now is that there's been at least 1, possibly 2 large explosions in the heart of Beirut, in the port area of Beirut, and windows have been shattered, and people for miles around have felt the force of that explosion. You're watching BBC News. More coverage now from my colleague James Reynolds at BBC World.
This is the scene in Beirut after a large explosion was heard in the port area of the Lebanese capital. We have with us our colleague Rami Rahim, who is in Beirut and who heard the explosion. Rami, I wonder if you could just keep people up to date, bring us right up to date with what you heard and what's going on now, please.
Well, again, technically, I'm not exactly in Beirut. If I were in Beirut, I would probably be myself affected by the blast in a much worse way than I am. I am perhaps about 10 kilometers away from Beirut, but that said, I heard a massive, massive blast. Before the blast, I felt what felt to me like an earthquake. Before I heard anything, I asked people around me, did you feel this? Did you feel the earthquake? People around me said no, but then later I asked other people did feel the same thing that I did. Within seconds, came the blast, and it was I don't recall hearing something so loud before in my life. It was a really massive blast. Of course, we started seeing videos coming out of the area close to where the blast hit, and of course rumors about what might have taken place. And then the reports came out that this is an accident in a warehouse in the port of Beirut. Again, unconfirmed. So far, we still don't know what actually took place.
When people hear an explosion in Beirut, obviously for a lot of people that will bring back to mind episodes of war, of the 2005 explosions of Said Hariri, of the 2006 war against Israel. Older people might remember that civil war. Tell me, what does an explosion do to people's minds in Beirut?
Well, yeah, as you said, there's no shortage of memories, explosive memories coming to mind in Beirut, depending what generation you are, which wars you've lived through, which wars you remember. In the past, as you said, 2005 was a year that saw the assassination of former Prime Minister Rafik Hariri, and then a string of assassinations followed. 2006 was a year which saw war between Lebanon and Israel, one in which large areas of southern Lebanon, especially, but also different parts of Lebanon, were subjected to severe airstrikes from the Israelis, which killed many hundreds of civilians. And before that, if we go back in memory, there is, of course, the civil war, which many people have lived through. And you can go back as far as 1975 and slightly even before that. The country is full of such memories, unfortunately. Some of them related to war and active conflict, others assassinations and mysterious explosions, with some of which we end up knowing the full story about them, or something close to the full story, and some of which remain mysterious and unknown.
Rami, thank you so much for the moment. I'm sure we'll be back with you very shortly. We have managed to get hold of a witness. Mohammed Najim is someone who heard perhaps the explosion, and we're going to speak to him. Mohammed, hello. What did you hear and what did you see?
It was like almost 6:15 p.m. and I was awake. I just woke up from a nap and I was walking in my place, and then suddenly my glass, I live on the 11th floor, and the glass flash. I heard like two big explosions. I felt the building is going down. I didn't know what happened. I was flying. I flew in my place. I was trying to hide. I am bleeding a little bit from my feet. I'm okay though. Yeah, I mean, it's just like all the buildings around me are just like fully, all the glass has been destroyed. All the doors are broken. I mean, this took me back in the memory to 2006 when Israel was bombing Lebanon, and it bombed an area near me, and I thought I'm going to die. I just had the same feeling today.
You thought you were going to die?
Yes, this is the feeling I had. I mean, I think many people had this feeling. I mean, I saw a few neighbors. I have one neighbor. I mean, I saw people are just like devastated with all the tanks in the country now, this as well, in addition to all the fucked up situation.
And Mohammed, in the moments after you heard the explosion and all the glass broke, did you all go out into the streets? Tell me what you did in the 5-10 minutes afterwards, all of you.
I live on the 11th floor, so I was thinking if they're bombing the building, then there's no reason to run away anyway. I'm on the 11th floor, so I just sat in the corner, remembering what happened in 2006 with me. And I don't know, it's a bad luck maybe living in this country.
Mohammed, obviously we continue to try to work out what caused the explosion. But it's interesting that you say, as soon as you all heard the explosion, it brought back those memories of previous explosions in Beirut.
Yeah, sure, correct.